Thanks for joining us today on the Nurturist Pod, where we help nurture your path and unleash your passions. Welcome back, everybody, to the Nurturist Pod. We got Danny, the head of growth from One Text. How's it going, man?
Good. Stoked to be here. Appreciate you having me on my first podcast.
Yeah, of course, man. It's a pleasure to have you on here. I know we connected a couple weeks ago, and yeah, like I was explaining, like the main purpose of this pod is to be able to get different perspectives on people from different walks of life. And so thought it'd be a good fit for sure. But how's life, man? How's things with One Text?
Good. Yeah. It's always been like a dream of mine to be early at a YC startup, to see myself as literally the number one employee here at One Texas is pretty crazy, and took a weird, wild route to this point. But I feel like I'm finally happy with my career. It's
Yeah.
been ups and downs like everyone has, but to be hitting that goal and see myself. I never thought I'd see myself in sales growing up. Thought I'd be in finance or consultant. Growing up, my dad was in sales, and it's definitely liked what he was doing, but didn't think I'd be in it. But here I am, head of growth at One Text.
Yeah, for sure. No, that's awesome, man. I had the same boat as you. I never really even knew what sales was growing up. Like my dad, he was a banker. My mom, she was stay-at-home mom. And I had some friends and their dads, they were in sales and stuff. And they were always at like our baseball and football practices. And I'm like, what are these guys doing? Why do they get to be at all of our practices and stuff? And so it was always like, huh, I wonder what those guys do. Like, what is sales? What does that entail? And yeah, I'm in the same boat. I do sales tech company as well. And yeah, no, I think it's super cool that you've been able to land this spot at One Text, man. And just looking over, it looks like you have some previous experience at a couple different companies. I'm sure you were able to those to get this spot as the head of growth at One Text. But yeah, just taking a step back, man. You mentioned that you thought you were going to go into finance and different things coming out of high school. Um, but what was that journey like out of high school? Where I know obviously you went to college, but what kind of was like that first job, or like what were those first couple steps that you took in your career?
Yeah, in high school, my dad enrolled me into Mandarin Chinese as a joke, but then I ended up keeping it and found myself in Taiwan for 2 weeks. And during high school as well, me and a friend of mine, we had launched some different social apps. One was like Tinder, but had categories, sophomore, junior, what have you. And another app was like Facebook, but for events. And during college, I continued to study Mandarin, continued to study finance, but ended up pivoting because I had really found my passion in like building those startups, and that kind of carried over into post college. Never really worked for a big company. Was always looking for startups that were doing something new and exciting. And in terms of One Text, I'm a former Shopify brand operator, so love supporting people who I've been a merchant, a brand owner. It's not easy to take back with sales. Like now that I just think of sales as finding brands in pain that can use our solution and making their life a little bit easier, then sales is super fun. And I love what I do every day.
Love it, man. So you and your buddy built a couple apps in high school, and then you also were a Shopify brand owner. I guess tell me a little bit more about that. What that looked like.
Yeah, so the inspiration for that first app was I went to a private high school here in Massachusetts, Catholic, all men. My friends came from all across Massachusetts, and the weekend rolls around, you're in 12 people group chat, and it takes until 9 p.m. to find a plan to do with the remaining 2 hours you have in your night. So that was the kind of first inspiration for that first app. And then in college was really where that Tinder for categories one came from.
Okay.
But really just like building for my peers at that point was what I found inspiring. And now I'm doing that here in e-commerce. I think of DTC community as my peers, and at One Text, we're really trying to build something different for marketers.
I love it, man. And how about the Shopify brand? What was it that you were selling? What was the product?
Yeah, my first brand, I got into drop shipping around 2016. My first brand was selling matching cat collars and bracelets. Quickly pivoted away from drop shipping. It's a good model to get started. People wait 60 days to get their order. You're lucky if they get the right order. So yeah, switched to ordering in bulk and then fulfilling myself. Never had a cat. Now I do. You can see I have a flannel on, but my arms are covered in scratches. But sold that brand and then exited that and then started a print on demand studio actually out in Denver. Had a couple Epson, they're called DTG printers. They spray ink like a few millimeters above the shirt. Again, never saw myself getting into print on demand, but it was pretty cool. Scaled that up. We are out in Denver, purchased some shirts for Nikola Jokic when he won MVP a few years
No.
back. So it's super cool, like seeing something you created like on ESPN, and we never really get credited on those viral stories, but it's something that I'll be able to take to the grave with me, being a big sports guy and knowing that I did that.
Okay, cool, man. No, that's awesome. That's super cool. I didn't even realize that you had done that, the Shopify print on demand stuff. So that's super sweet. So you said you're a big sports guy. It looks like you played rugby. Is that right?
Yep. Yeah,
Okay.
played wasn't good enough for lax in high school, so pivoted to rugby, and I think I left a note. Like looking back on it, I wish I'd taken it like more serious and gave it really my full all. Like my focus was on like the startups and stuff like that, but
Yeah.
yeah, I wish I had been more competitive. I've always been competitive with the business side of things, but I wish I got a bit more pissed off about not getting starting playing time. But
Yeah.
it's just fun playing. Yeah, being small and like I had some nice jacked up tackles, and people like on the sidelines get a little more excited and cheer for you when you're the smallest guy on the pitch.
Yeah. No, I imagine, dude. That's super fun. So you said you pivoted from lacrosse and that was in high school. So you grew up playing lacrosse then?
Yeah, lacrosse and basketball
Oh,
were
nice.
my main sports in like middle school, and then yeah, switched to rugby, and nowadays more so golf and tennis and pickleball during the summer.
Yes, sir. No, I'm right there with you. I never played golf. I always played baseball and stuff, and all my coaches and everyone was like, "No, dude, you can't go golf. It's gonna mess up your baseball swing." Now that I'm finally done, I play old pitch or old man softball with a bunch of my buddies, and then also hit the links every once in a while. I just got into it like last year, so we still got a long ways to go. But
Love it.
golf it's super fun, man. No, that's sweet.
Yeah, golf's a challenge. I was actually just in Mexico a couple weeks ago, and we played the course that Live Golf just played this past weekend.
No, no way.
I can confirm that the course record was safe after my round.
That's awesome, man. No, it's definitely a frustrating sport. Yeah, I don't know. I have a tough time hitting the ball straight, dude. I'll hit it far, but it'll go
Yeah, exactly.
it'll go whatever way I don't want it to go, I feel like every time. No, that's awesome. Cool, man. So obviously I wanted to dive a little bit more into like your high school experience and what kind of led you to this startup world. Obviously, you and your buddies in high school specifically finding that problem where a bunch of you were in the group chat, couldn't really dial in a plan until the night was almost over. I'm sure that kind of sparked that interest there. But I know you answered here that you were more quiet in high school. You were more involved in social media, in those apps and stuff. Was that kind of where that started for you? Just like being able to express yourself a bit better through social media?
Yeah, exactly. Like building those social apps, Space and Hangout, they're called. Like you said, like I was a quiet guy in middle school. Going to an all guys high school didn't really help with the social aspects there. Really, like, one of the motivations behind Space was like being on the college campus bus and like seeing other people like have my app open like on their hands. That was like always an inspiration and kind of fueled some like long grinding payless work days, is like trying to see like my mark on the world and like in that manner.
That's cool, dude. I can only imagine like cruising in the bus and then all of a sudden looking over at someone's phone and seeing your app in their hand. That's got to be such a cool feeling.
It's actually pretty funny. We used to go like quarry jumping around here in Massachusetts, and someone like spray painted like one of our app logos like on the rocks. So
No way.
I think my co-founder saw someone like on a college bus like that, but yeah, I was the one that discovered the graffiti, which I
Nice.
can't complain about.
That's dope. So what ended up happening with the app?
Yeah, apps are super hard to monetize, and it
Mm.
was definitely in the heyday for Facebook ads back then. Were super cheap, but yeah, they're hard to scale. And it was like when e-commerce came around, it was the beauty of it. You can, especially with drop shipping, you get that first order, you can be profitable already,
Mm.
and it's a lot easier to scale. Of course, there's no logistics issues that you don't have with the apps, but
That makes sense. So did you start drop shipping while you were in high school still?
my first brand was like freshman year of college. About
Freshman year of college. Okay, gotcha. Cool. And I know you said you like coming out of high school, you knew that you wanted to keep studying Mandarin and you wanted to become more of a consultant or go into finance, even with the experiences that you had building these apps. So I guess what kind of made you pivot fully coming out of high school? Because I know obviously, like for me at least, I had no idea what I wanted to do. I like had an idea. I'm like, oh, this sounds good. Tell everyone I'm gonna go do X, Y, Z, and then I'll figure it out as I go. But what kind of was that pivotal moment for you coming out of high school, going into college, already had more or less founded this app and then getting into drop shipping and kind of seeing the success there? What was the eye-opening moment for you?
Yeah, I'd say, my college experience was a bit choppy. Took 3 different schools to graduate. In general, like freshman year, I think I just lost myself, just succumbed to, okay, on the weekends, like my peers, like they're drinking, I need to drink. I think I lost like my love for business and those high school apps. Yeah, I think once I hit college, it's okay, like what is everyone else doing on campus? And it took me, I was at Bentley in Massachusetts, had to switch to another school. And then by that time that third school came around, like I was back in swing and had e-commerce businesses getting 50 grand months and was back on the wave of finding my passion in entrepreneurship and e-commerce.
Gotcha. So it was more just because I know obviously you answered here that you wish you would have had this gap year to figure yourself out. Do you feel like during that period you could have more dove into e-commerce and find that passion sooner, or why do you say that?
Definitely. Yeah, I think high school and college, I think some tweaks need to be made. But I think, to be honest, like I didn't even know that like gap year was a thing until like I was well into my college career. And I ideally think if I had known it was an option, spending that time by myself, if I was traveling America or internationally, what have you, I would have had a stronger backbone, known who I was. So once I was placed back onto that college campus, I wasn't just through osmosis, like taking, okay, the jocks are doing this, the whatever are doing that, and stay true to myself and would have been a better experience. But
Yeah. No, I agree, dude. I feel like honestly, coming out of high school, there's so many expectations and you're expected to know so much. And like in the moment, I know, at least for me, I felt like I knew everything. In hindsight, obviously that wasn't the case.
right.
So I think, dude, like if a gap year is what you need as someone coming out of high school, like I would definitely suggest doing it, taking time to yourself, being able to find out what your passions are and what really matters to you. Like you said, I think that's so important. And not only are you not going to just go to college that first year and kind of waste it in a way, but you'll be able to, once you do decide, hey, I want to go into finance, I want to be a lawyer, I want to be a doctor, you can hit the ground running when you do decide what you want to do and what you want to accomplish. Because for me, at least, I bounced around to 3 different colleges as well. I only ever
The trifecta.
exactly. But I ended up dropping out. I got into my first sales gig and I just saw the potential there. I'm like, you know what? Going through my generals and doing everything like this really isn't going to benefit me in the long run. Obviously, having a degree is never going to hurt you, but I wanted to focus more on those. And so, yeah, I decided to go into sales full time and kind of start my career there. And I've loved it. It's been such a great learning experience. And I feel like, yeah, just being able to, I've been at 3 different companies over the course of the last 4 years and just having those different experiences. Like, I feel like sales honestly is more or less just like an internship. Like you're able to learn and grow these certain just by communicating and talking to different people. And so I'm a huge advocate for sales. If you're coming out of high school, you don't know what to do, go get a sales gig. Go try and figure yourself out, go make some good money, and you're going to learn those valuable skills that'll be able to translate into whatever career path you want to go for the rest of your life. And no, I think that's super cool that in hindsight, you were able to realize, hey, you know what? Maybe I could have more or less jump started my career even more if I would have taken that gap year instead of just going into school and doing what everyone else expected me to do.
I think another tough part there is like knowing that my parents like had sacrificed so much for me to go to
Mm,
that high school, to go to college. Like you have to judge, okay, they want me to keep studying Mandarin. You know, they're coming from my mom's been a nurse at the same hospital unit for 40 years. Like
mm,
meanwhile, I've had 10 different or a half dozen different jobs. Like just growing up in a different society, like managing knowing how much they sacrificed into me, like getting that degree was a lot for them, more so for me. Like I wish there are definitely some parts where I figured or I dropped out of school, but
yeah.
and
It's,
then and to your point on sales, like it's also great. Like you can keep doing sales, or you can start like once you find a product that you love selling, you can get closer to the engineering team. I think it's a great career opportunity as well.
Yeah, for sure. No, that's an interesting point that you mentioned just about your parents. Cause yeah, there's definitely those expectations. I know they were there with me as well. And that was probably one of the most intimidating and hardest conversations I had to have was with my dad once I made that decision to drop out because it was like, yeah, like that was the expectation. Dude, you got to go to college, you got to do XYZ. And
Mhm.
so, yeah, one way or another, like obviously going through college and getting the degree, like I said, it's never going to hurt you. And meeting those expectations for your parents as well, I'm sure is super rewarding. But yeah, it's tough because I think at the end of the day, the most important thing is that you're happy in it, that you decide where you want to go with your career, and college doesn't exactly align with that. I don't feel like as a young kid coming out of high school, like that should be the reason you don't pursue your dreams or passions. It's because of those expectations. And like, it's a lot easier said than done, I think. Because yeah, obviously I know parents can be tough.
Right. I think a big thing for like high school, sorry to cut you off there, but
No, you're good.
I think a big thing like for high schoolers is to start building their personal brands. That's how I found this one text job. Like I never applied to one text. I connected with Jonathan. I had started my like e-commerce Twitter at
Mhm.
my old SMS company and started growing my Twitter. And that's how I connected with Jonathan. And I think high schoolers is cool, but Twitter, or if you're a designer, there's a lot of other spots. Start building your personal brand. And these colleges, they get to charge such a premium because everyone that gets to go there, you can get to claim a little bit of Princeton's personal brand, their
Yeah.
brand, whatever. But if you have your own, like, then, you're, you hold more power.
Yeah. No, exactly, dude. And it's funny, the way Twitter works now, I don't feel like it's always been this way, but dude, Twitter is crazy. And I think I've talked to every single person that I've had on the podcast specifically about the power of Twitter and connecting with like-minded people and building that network or building that personal brand, like you said. Like, it's so important. And not only that, but like you said as well, being able to have those opportunities that you wouldn't have had otherwise just from making a name for yourself. So yeah, whether it is Twitter or it's TikTok or Instagram, LinkedIn, whatever is your bread and butter and you feel like you can succeed at, it is crucial for you. I feel like, yeah, if you want to have those opportunities come your way to be able to establish yourself for sure. No, that's a really good point, man. I love that. So yeah, I guess more on my last question. I know you had mentioned that you wish, looking back, that during high school, you wish you could have put a little bit more time, effort into the weight room, into rugby practice and everything else. Was there anything else or anything from that specifically that you feel like could have benefit you in the long run?
I think like holistically, just knowing that, sure, like I can join a rugby club now, it won't be the same as like during those high school and college moments. And then in terms of the gym, like in general, it's just a great way of building self-confidence. If you're able to get into the gym, get out some demons and stress busting there. And then,
Yeah,
yeah,
for sure, man. No, I couldn't agree more. And last question for me then, what are some of your guys' future goals and plans with One Text, if you can share?
definitely. Yeah, definitely having an aggressive sales target on my back to hit. We're in Y Combinator right now and demo days coming up. It's really scaling up and we're close to passing 50 brands or so and haven't really been in operation or we're approaching a year in operation. Super happy with our growth so far. Just onboarded a bunch of teammates, a couple more engineers and customer success. So just scaling. Shop Pay recently shut down their version of text to buy and card on file. So really see the opportunity for us is massive.
Nice, man. I didn't even realize that. I know they released like 100 different updates and stuff to Shopify just the other day, and I didn't realize that was one of them. So I'm sure that'll be massive for you, man. That's awesome.
Appreciate it.
Yeah. Okay. Cool, man. I think that's it for me. So yeah, I appreciate you hopping on and we'll be in touch for sure. Let me know if you're ever out in Salt Lake. I know every once in a while we'll go back east and catch a Red Sox game or two. So I'll let you know when we swing by.
Yeah, I'm doing Park City next month, so maybe I can make a
Very cool.
stop to come see you. I love meeting my digital friends and converting it to in real life. So I'll let you know. But
Absolutely.
looking forward to continuing to watch your growth.
Yeah, I appreciate you, man. Have a good one. Thanks again for joining us today on the Nurturist Pod. Hopefully, you found some of this content insightful. If you did, make sure to follow, subscribe, and send it to one of your friends. We're also going to be posting this on YouTube, TikTok, Twitter, wherever you get your podcasts, whether it's Spotify or Apple. We got you covered. And we're going to be building out our community in Discord. So make sure to join us there as well. Until next time, thanks.